We're learning new details about a big data breach at Eskenazi Hospital impacting patients and staff members. We'll get with Emily Longnecker in just a moment. We're going to talk with Angela about the rain in the forecast, but we want to begin with some breaking news happening on the west side of Indianapolis tonight. The Ben Davis Carmel High School football game was canceled tonight after gunshots were reported outside of the stadium. Confirmed by the Carmel athletic director, Jim Inskeep, who tweeted out tonight that tonight's football game was called early because of gunshots outside the stadium at Ben Davis. According to Jim Inskeep, there was no immediate threat. Everyone is safe inside the stadium. Inskeep said Ben Davis does require metal detectors to get inside the facility. Inskeep said the teams were in the locker room and thanked the first responders for getting on site and making sure that everyone inside the venue remained safe. And the Carmel Greyhounds are on their way back home to Carmel. So again, we don't know if anyone was injured at this point. We've got a crew heading to the scene, and we'll be bringing you an update tonight on 13 News at 11. All we know is that the game was called early tonight because of reported gunshots outside of the stadium at Ben Davis as their game was going on with the Carmel Greyhounds. So we'll continue to follow that on social media and, of course, on 13 News at 11. All right, we want to welcome you here to Facebook Live. Good to have you with us here on this Friday night. Let us know where you're watching, and we'll go ahead and give you a shout out. Want to get right over to Angela because another beautiful day here in central Indiana, Angela, but we've got some rain in the weekend forecast.
We do have some rain in the weekend forecast, and we did have one comment from a viewer that their child was at that game. So we'll probably, continue to follow that story as well. But yes, lots of sunshine today. We were at 85th day in a row, in fact, with highs in the 80s. Depending on the arrival time for the rain tomorrow, we're going to be 75 to maybe 80. The farther east you are, the better chance you have of getting into the upper 70s, close to 80 before the rain arrives. So the Saturday forecast, if you don't want to get wet, do your outdoor plans early in the day. That means before lunchtime. Anytime after late morning, early afternoon, there will be some spotty showers on live Doppler 13 radar. Now, this isn't a large line of rain that will move from west to east and impact everybody. Those oftentimes are easier to forecast, so we know exactly where and when the rain is going to be. This is going to be a little more scattered, so best advice for outdoor plans, take the umbrella, take the rain gear, and take us along with you. That live Doppler 13 weather app can be very handy. Future Track 13 also comes in handy as we can time the arrival of the rain. 8 a.m. we're dry, but here comes the noon hour, and here comes the rain. Into the southwestern part of the state, you're going to be dry longer the farther east you are. However, the farther west you are, you can see the rain arriving, and then it really starts to fill in around 3 o'clock and then tapers off to a few spotty showers during the evening and then some additional rain as we head into Sunday. Sunday, very similar to Saturday. There will be some rain around, but you can see with Future Track 13, this isn't going to be a washout start to finish. So again, can't tell you enough. Best advice, take the live Doppler 13 weather app with you. Take the rain gear with you for outdoor activities. Don't cancel anything, just maybe have a plan B. And I know it can be frustrating. I got an email from somebody up in the Fishers area, has an outdoor event, late afternoon, early evening. What's the forecast going to be? Well, you have to be at least prepared for some rain, but not a washout.
Okay, that's good to know. Melissa says, look, I'm going to be cleaning the house tomorrow afternoon, so it can go ahead and rain. So there you go. Let's see. Sherry is with us tonight saying hi, Angela and Scott. Thomas says, hey, Scott, where's the PJs? That's the story about my wife and I wearing pink pajamas. You're going to see that coming up in a few minutes, so hang in there on that. We're talking, a lot of viewers asking about this shooting that took place outside Ben Davis High School tonight. Again, we'll have more details for you at 11 o'clock. And let's see, Terry, hi from Plainfield. And let's see, Joyce, good to have you back, Scott. We missed you this week. I was in New York City gathering some stories about Chinese culture in Chinatown, in Manhattan, and we'll have those stories coming up during the Beijing Winter Olympics. So I enjoyed my trip there. And let's see, Herbie from Southport, Mary Lou from Ellettsville, Jean from the West Side, and Cam says, watching from Crown Hill.
Nice.
Great to
Thanks
have all
for
you with us
checking
tonight.
in.
You bet. All right, let's go ahead and turn our attention now to our big story tonight. This data breach over at Eskenazi Hospital. A friend of the show, Emily Longnecker, joins us here on this Friday night. So, Em, this data breach took place back in the spring. And for people who haven't been following this particular story, give us a little background on who this impacts.
Yeah, so it impacts employees and patients of Eskenazi Health. And you're right, the data breach happened in May. And so Eskenazi Health investigated. They realized that it happened in August. They became aware of it. And a month later, after investigating, they've been able to track down all the information that was breached. It's a lot of personal information of patients and employees, things like social security numbers, dates of birth, email addresses, even medical records, driver's license, passport numbers, in some cases, cause of death, in some cases, diagnoses. So this, and we're told from Eskenazi Health that a lot of this information has made its way to the dark web, which means other folks that could, they have access to that information and they could use that for a number of things. Identity theft is always a concern with that when cyber criminals get a hold of your information. So Eskenazi Health is sending out letters to all the people affected. They should get those letters next week, and they'll have access to a credit monitoring system, an identity theft monitoring system that they won't have to pay for, that they can call and have access to so that they can monitor their accounts. So pretty big deal. We talked to a cybersecurity expert today about the fact that this happens, and he says this is the world that we are living in, right? This is cyber terrorism. This is the thing that is happening. And so he talked about, this was Doug Allgood with Black Ink IT, and he helps companies, his company goes in and helps other companies stay safe and try and prevent these kind of attacks from happening to their companies by giving people tips on how to prevent it. One of the tips that hit me is, you get these emails and you're in a hurry and you think if you get an email that says urgent, you have to act on this now, and you're just kind of in the course of the day and you click on it, that can be a way that these cyber criminals then can get in to your system. So he said, beware of any emails that you kind of get that say urgent, you must act now. And talked about a multi-authentication system. So, we know what that's about, right? It's not just a password to get into your email now. They text a code to your phone. You've got to enter that code first. And it's a pain, right? And he talked about, it's just a headache, but these are the things that we have to do to protect systems, basically, at this point.
Yeah, those are good reminders, Emily. That's an important story. We look forward to seeing you tonight on 13 News at 11 o'clock. We'll get more on that Eskenazi data breach and the tips provided by that cybersecurity expert. Hope you have a nice weekend, my friend.
Okay, thanks, Scotty.
All right, there's Emily Longnecker. She'll be part of our big story coming up tonight on 13 News at 11. Big data breach affecting both employees and patients over at Eskenazi Hospital. All right, pink is the big color, of course, during the month of October because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And that's the reason that Angela's wearing the pink tonight. I've got my pink socks.
That's good.
So I've got those on tonight. Anne-Marie looked beautiful in her pink tonight as we all are putting the focus on Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And my wife, who we've talked about here on the news, is a survivor of breast cancer. Earlier this year, she and I were invited up to Carmel. They had a big PJ party. It's sponsored by the iWin Foundation, and the iWin Foundation puts on this pink pajama party. And I've got a picture I want to go ahead and show you on the screen. There's Janae and I. So there we are wearing our satin pink pajamas. They're supporting breast cancer survivors and the wonderful work that the iWin Foundation does to provide physical and emotional help for people who are going through breast cancer treatment. They provide things like housework, lawn care, food, child care, all sorts of a variety of different things. So all the people who attended this, and there were several hundred of them, all wearing pink pajamas tonight. I was the only guy there at the event, but Janae talked tonight about the things that were important to her And I wanted to just go ahead and play a little bit of the sound tonight that we wanted to share from tonight's event. Let's listen in.
I am convinced, because I didn't let COVID keep me away, because it was detected early, I know that that saved my life. So I am here as a cancer survivor, but I'm going to continue my mission to share about getting annual mammograms. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but you all have friends and family, and there are ladies out there that I've talked to that are scared during this time to go get a mammogram. So one of the things that I've done, I've got a prayer calendar. And ladies, if you have your mammogram date, hit me on Facebook. I'd love to pray for you.
Yeah, so Janae has been putting together the names of women who have mammograms scheduled. So if you are a woman who's got a mammogram coming up, go ahead and put the date of your mammogram in the comments section, and Janae will add your name to her prayer calendar and pray for you as you go through your mammogram. But having mammograms, these annual screenings, saved Janae's life. She was a stage 2 cancer survivor, learned about her cancer diagnosis back in January, had surgery, 30 rounds of radiation, and tonight it was a big party for all the women who have beaten breast cancer and supporting the iWin Foundation. So really fun night. I asked the ladies there, how many of you would like to see me actually wear the pink pajamas during the news tonight? We got a lot of hands in the air.
You probably could have worn them on Facebook Live. The news maybe not.
I'm not sure that the boss would have allowed it.
Higher ups, not so much. No.
So we got the pink socks.
That works. That counts for sure.
Right. You want to thank all the women who were there tonight supporting the iWin Foundation. So, all right, let's talk about the rain this weekend. People are making their Saturday and Sunday plans. How's it looking?
End half of Saturday and then kind of off and on Sunday. That's when you're going to want to be weather aware, not necessarily because of severe weather, but because of rain and maybe a couple of thunderstorms that could interrupt your afternoon plans. So if you absolutely want to do something out the door and you don't want to get wet, do it before noon on Saturday. Otherwise, take the rain gear. If your kids have soccer or football or something else going on in the afternoon, be prepared at times to get wet, with a few spotty showers and maybe a couple of storms. And then off and on, but not a washout Sunday either. And I know it can be frustrating.
Right.
Just tell me when and where it's going to rain. And I would love to be able to tell you it is going to rain in Fishers tomorrow at noon, in Greenwood at 1, and in Richmond at 3, but it's not one of those systems. It's if you look at the system that we've been tracking, and we showed it to you during the earlies, and we'll show it again at 11 on radar, it really tells the story. It's just kind of hit and miss.
Right.
So be prepared. Don't cancel anything, and you'll be fine.
There you go. I know that you last night were talking with Dustin was here last night, right? And you talked about great memories at Walt Disney World.
I know, and
because they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this month.
And we were asked to do one. I came up with 3, and then
you came up with really good ones.
Right, and then I forgot I honeymooned there. Oops. And then I started thinking about all the fun that I saw through my children's eyes when we took them. So you can't come up with one. Do you? You can't come up with one.
The reason I bring this up, Fulton says Angela asked Scott what his favorite memories for the 50th birthday of the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. Look, I grew up in California with Disneyland, so most of my memories have been there, but we've taken our family to Disneyland or to Disney World many times. In fact, when they were younger, we did 7 parks in 7 days.
Woo!
That is my favorite memory, but when we go back, we love Tower of Terror, love Fantasmic. I mean, love the whole Disney thing.
I know, you can't come up with one. I remember the first time we rode Epcot up the big ball.
Right.
You know, you ride up and you're like, well, this is really boring. And then all of a sudden it turns around, you're going backwards down the big ball, and we're like, uh-oh. And then they've made some changes, like when we took Luke and Grace, they snap your picture in, certain parts of it.
Right.
It's just, you can't come up with one. There's just so many.
You know, my oldest daughter, London, lived in Florida, bought an annual pass the day that she got to Florida, and has been there over 100 times.
Whoa!
She is a fanatic. In fact, she's going back this week to have another. She's meeting a girlfriend. They did the Disney College program, so she really loves it. This is the wedding planner daughter.
And they do such fun things around the holidays, too. If you've never been around Halloween, everything is decked out.
Yeah, and Christmas is
the
great.
Same way,
I know.
and it's magical.
I know. Happiest place on earth. All right, thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Facebook Live. We're with you every weeknight, 10 o'clock. Thank you again for joining us. Angela and I hope to see you tonight on 13 News at 11. Have a great weekend, too.